one thing most people don't talk about is maneuvering through the different nuances of municipal politics. And my advice would be show up in person. It's harder for them to ignore a project with a real face behind it, so yeah. So this week has been a really interesting one. Building inspectors and city planners are some of the most fascinating people that I've ever met, for better or for worse. And right now, we're dealing with a project in the Oakland Hills that was originally approved, but now needs to be reapproved because of a slight oversight. And I get it, we're all people. But you'll learn very, very quickly that most oftentimes the city gets what the city wants. And it's this balancing act of not getting on their bad side, but also representing your client and speaking on their behalf by nudging the city towards this goal, but not necessarily by nudging them over a cliff, if that makes sense. So next week we have a few meetings with a few different towns on the peninsula, and we'll see where it goes, and I'll keep you guys updated. Ame, ¿cómo estamos? Ok, yo tengo 3 preguntas para ti, ¿ok?
Dime.
Uno, el primero es, ¿sabes que necesitamos poner pegamento alrededor todo la grava de los pedazos de cemento? Y solo necesitamos estar muy seguros que todo está compactando al mismo nivel que el cemento.
Estamos hablando aquí de Melopar.
Yeah, exacto. En atrás, con los cuadros, los 4 cuadros.
Ajá.
Sí, necesita.
Okay, hay un glue que se revuelve en la carreta, pero es caro, pero sí queda bien estable, pues, pero necesitamos revolverlo como si fuera cemento y ya se pone en la grava.
Exacto, yo pienso, es similar que usamos en Pacífica. Ok, es uno. Segundo, es por la flagstone en la área cerca de la cocina. Necesitamos ponerlo en grava y en el DG también. Entonces, para nosotros es posible hacerlo después, ¿no? Porque Adán quiere compactar todo lunes.
Bueno.
Gio, ¿cómo estamos?
Sí, bien, ¿tú?
Bien. Solo tengo 3 cosas para ti, muy rápido. Uno, obviamente necesitamos excavar por los muros de piedra. Yo quiero empezar con esto. Entonces, para nosotros, ¿cuántos días restantes de esto tenemos? ¿Probablemente 2 o 3 hacerlo o qué piensas?
Sí, como 2 o 3 días.
2 o 3, ok. Porque yo hablé con Adán y necesitamos tener su chofer no puede cargar 10 yardas, entonces vamos a hacerlo con el chofer de tuyo.
Ok.
¿Está bien?
Está bien.
Ok, y
entonces, el lunes lo pido para que le marco mañana para que lo lleve el lunes.
Ok, perfecto. Hablas con él porque es muy importante que tenemos un chofer. Yo quiero algo que no es flojo, ¿me entiendes?
Sí.
Exacto. Está bien. Hasta mañana.
Ok.
So being a dual landscape architecture and landscape construction studio is both super rewarding, but it's also double responsibility, as I'm sure you can imagine. And in the first call, we were reviewing a segmented patio area. So essentially, the usable part will be large concrete rectangles, and the surrounding will be left more open. So instead of providing a feeling of enclosure, this will feel more expansive by contrast. And both concepts of enclosure and expansion are super viable. It really just comes down to the site conditions and the specific goal for that project. Now, in the second call, we were discussing a double wall, and not a wall on top of another wall, but a wall that's composed of 2 complementary materials. And there will essentially be a concrete wall, retaining wall, on the backside, and connecting to that will be natural boulder walls on the sides. And of course, this will provide a stable surface for walking in for entertainment, but it also will bring us back from the edge of being considered too modern by introducing a natural boulder material into the mix. So those are the 2 calls we just had, and I know it's 7:30 p.m., but it's good to go over these things before you get into the next day. So yeah. So, the conversation of honesty and materials may seem like a loaded topic, but I like to think it's pretty straightforward. For me, what this means is that the material comes from something real, it changes, it patinas with time, and overall it just becomes a more mature version of itself. And on a micro level, you can even think of things like black and white quartz rock or California gold rock as good examples of this. And the beauty of those materials is that each pebble, each piece is different and unique. It has its own character and personality to it, rather than all just being the same. And I know this opinion might offend some people, but a material that is completely homogeneous and stays the same for a period of time, it's not honest. And you can even think of things like AstroTurf as an example. I mean, it's low maintenance for sure, but the low maintenance quality is outweighed by the nature of all of it. Components like polyethylene and rubber pellets are not what I consider to be becoming of a honest and natural landscape. And I know some that might work for them, but for me, I want my landscape to exude the same qualities that we do as humans. We grow, we change, we pass on. Essentially, it's this concept of from dust to dust. And as long as I'm the one designing, those are the feelings that I want to embody rather than overemphasizing homogeneity or being quote unquote perfect all of the time. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. So you guys, that's pretty much it for this week, and we'll talk soon.